How's it going, Psych 250? My name is Cade Johnson. In this video, I will be doing a character analysis of a man from a popular and hopefully familiar film franchise, Star Wars. The character I will be analyzing is Anakin Skywalker, also known as Darth Vader. I will be looking at him from a mental health lens, and I will zero in on one of the major influences in the life of this broken, complex character, that influence being borderline personality disorder. I will give a brief description of the life of Anakin, from his adolescence to his early childhood, early adulthood, and his fully mature majority, where he transitioned from Anakin to one of the most villainous characters in film history, Darth Vader. I will also make direct connections between his behaviors and his mood disorder, explaining why I would diagnose him with the illness and some professional ways I would go about trying to cure the disorder, or even to try and just lessen its effects to a point where a healthy, sustainable life is ready to be lived. Let's begin. Anakin Skywalker was born in the Outer Rim world of Tatooine. He later served the Galactic Republic as a Jedi Knight and later the Galactic Empire as the Sith Lord Darth Vader. Skywalker was believed to be the one known as the Chosen One of Jedi prophecy, destined to bring balance to the Force. After the battle on the planet Geonosis, Skywalker secretly married the senator from the planet Naboo, Padme Amidala. As the war progressed, Skywalker saw very little of Padme, but often came in contact with her, causing suspicion on behalf of his master Obi-Wan and his apprentice, Ahsoka Tano. Towards the end of the war, Skywalker was blessed with the news of pending fatherhood when Padme announced she was carrying their first child. This joy became sorrow when Skywalker became plagued with nightmares of his wife's demise in childbirth. Haunted by the memory of his mother's death by Tusken Raiders along with his desire to protect those he loved, he became privy to Darth Sidious's manipulation and ultimately fell to the dark side of the Force. He became the epitome of darkness and fear for decades as Emperor Palpatine's enforcer until his final redemption by his son, Luke Skywalker. Anakin was extraordinarily gifted in the use of the Force. His midichlorian count, the microscopic life forms that bind all living things to the Force, exceeded even that of Jedi Grandmaster Yoda's. For his age and level of experience, Anakin was also an incredibly skilled duelist. His piloting ability was unparalleled amongst the Jedi of the time. Unfortunately, Skywalker was never able to master his emotions or adhere entirely to the Jedi Code. Perhaps because of his troubled young life and late acceptance into the Jedi for training, Skywalker was prone to outbursts and rash decisions. He often missed his mother, often having visions of her. Skywalker would eventually travel to Tatooine, his home planet, to find her, slaughtering Tusken Raiders without mercy after watching her die as a prisoner of the infamous Sand People. His quick mastery of Force abilities also made him arrogant. While his abilities made him an incredibly powerful Jedi, able to stand beside Jedi Masters much older and more experienced than he, his inability to let go of his emotions and those he loved would inevitably lead to his fall before taking the mantle of the Sith Lord, Darth Vader. According to the National Library of Medicine, the term borderline personality was proposed in the United States by Adolf Stern in 1938. Stern described a group of patients who fit frankly neither into the psychotic nor into the psychoneurotic group, and introduced the term borderline to describe what he observed because it bordered on other conditions. The causes of the disorder can come from genetics, neurotransmitters, and neurobiology, but in Anakin's case, most likely the psychosocial factors. The National Library of Medicine also says that the recent evidence also suggests that neglect, including supervision neglect, and emotional underinvolvement by caregivers are important. Individuals vulnerable or exposed to influences that chip away at the development of social cognitive capacities, such as neglect in early relationships, develop with an impaired ability both to represent and effortfully control attentional capacity. Unless adequate remedial measures are taken, borderline personality may develop. This also comes from the National Library of Medicine. The symptoms pertaining to BPD are common in Anakin. Borderline personality disorder is a serious mental illness marked by instability in moods, interpersonal relationships, self-image, and behavior, according to background information on the National Institute of Mental Health website. Skywalker's symptoms meet the criteria of being borderline. He has difficulty controlling anger, stress-related breaks with reality, impulsivity, obsession with abandonment, and a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of ideation and evaluation. Anakin may also suffer from bipolar disorder, which is evident through his manic depression. Throughout the movies and multiple series, he can be seen displaying symptoms of depression and mania, with the mania typically stemming from irritability and not stereotyped happiness. Now, how would I go about treating Anakin? Well, trying to cure PPD could take a long time, sometimes as long as years, to become free of madness. So, in the long run, I would suggest consistent use of medication. But since the benefits of prescription medication for borderline personality disorder are unclear, medications aren't typically used as the primary way to treat the illness. But in this case, I would recommend medications to treat specific symptoms or co-occurring mental disorders involving Anakin, such as his mood swings or evident depression. I would then suggest psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is the first-line treatment for people with borderline personality disorder. Most psychotherapy occurs with a trained mental health professional in one-on-one sessions or with other individuals in group settings. Group sessions may help teach people with borderline personality disorder to interact with those around them and express themselves effectively. Two types of psychotherapy are dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, both of which use concepts of mindfulness or awareness of one's present situation and emotional states. They also teach to help control these emotions, reduce destructive behaviors, and improve relationships. I think these treatments would have been beneficial to Anakin, and if anyone had acknowledged his vulnerability and obvious signs something was wrong, and also helped him out earlier, it could have prevented him from becoming Darth Vader, ultimately saving an entire galaxy from his villainous peril.